Morning, everyone. Monday, May the 18th. We're bringing to a close the long Victoria Day weekend and hope you enjoyed it with the stay-at-home atmosphere that we experienced with our families. Our reflection today and the readings actually will help us in the next 2 weeks to celebrate two very important events in the life of the church before we bring to a close the Easter season. Okay, the 50 days of Easter. Next Sunday, we celebrate the Ascension, Jesus leaving, and then promising, and then the following Sunday, Pentecost, Jesus giving the Spirit to the early Christian community, to the church, and that is to us. We talk about today in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 16, the spread of the gospel, the good news, again with Paul and Barnabas, and going to Thyatira, Troas, other places, and they end up in Thyatira and they come in contact with a woman, Lydia, who opens her heart and listens eagerly to the good news, okay? And this is something we need to keep in mind always, because when we're going through difficult situations, we always ask ourselves the question, but where is God in all of this? The question of the freedom of religion, for example. We have known for hundreds, thousands of years in various countries, people do not have the freedom to practice their faith. In this pandemic situation globally now, billions of people unable to practice their faith as well. We ourselves unable to go to the church. But our practice of the faith has changed a little bit because the Spirit of God is slowly directing us through these difficult situations, and especially in difficult situations. Because in the gospel we have Jesus promising the advocate is going to come, whom the Father is going to send, and he will keep you from stumbling. Yes, from stumbling even in the midst of the uncertainties and the doubts that go along with the pandemic situation, okay? And then Jesus says, the time is coming when those who kill you will think that they are doing an offering of worship to God. That's important, okay? Because often we think ourselves as being killed, being lessened, being diminished by the things around us, not caused by God, permitted by God for a reason. And what's the reason? So that with the eyes of faith, we may be able to look positively upon these events, so that like Lydia, our eyes and our hearts may be open so that we too can become a witness. And Jesus says, he says, remember, that's why I'm telling you these things now, so that when difficulties happen, don't give up. Continue to learn, to identify the signs of the times, the signs of the Spirit of God at work within us. And so we pray in these next 2 weeks that the Spirit of God will enlighten us so that we may continue to grow in faith and love while we are still staying at home and under these various restrictions as we slowly bring the Easter season, the resurrection of Christ, to fullness of birth in our own renewed spirit. May God bless us all.